Don't tell the other half, but I've been internet shopping again. Oh, look, a box has arrived. Let's get it open. And these aren't the words that no man ever wants to hear. It's smaller than I thought. Maybe the box is called From the Journey. Either way, I best start scratching that build. Hello everyone and welcome back to the channel. What I have in my monkey hands is apart from a junk bot. I'm hopefully going to incorporate this into my hovercar build, so a little nip and tuck is in order. I'm just sticking on some styrene strip just to give it some sort of little aesthetic feel to the junk bot. No idea where this is going, but I'll use it eventually. I only have 2 of these, so I'm going to set these aside and probably forget about them until later on into the build. Now when I ordered this, it did say 1/35th scale. I forgot that scaling can be different to if, say, I'd bought a tank model. Never mind, I'll just do my best and do some dodgy close-ups, and hopefully we'll all get to see me make a hovercar. I like working in a bigger scale than this as it's easier to film and you don't get to see my monkey hands cover all the important moments of such build. But what I'm doing is trying to loosely build some kind of chassis to the main body of the car. I'm going to use the wheels and I'll use them as the hover thrusters. So once off the sprue, I just give them a little sand down. This is plasterer's tape, I do believe, which comes in handy for scratch building as it has a nice mesh look. I'll stick this down onto the wheels and then trim it to size. But before I do any cutting down, I'll just add the other side of the rim for the wheel just to make it look like it belongs in place. Do remember to get adult supervision if you're using scissors or squizzers, as I say. It's okay, the other half's in the other room with a first aid kit on standby. Look, no plasters required, and I have now a wheel that is turned into some kind of propulsion thruster system. My idea with the Plasticard is that people have been modifying their vehicles and simply welded their cars to a base that holds the new propulsion system for the flying mechanisms. Did I overthink this bit? Leave a comment with yes. I stick the seats in place next. And for those of you who regularly watch the channel, I'm using a combination of super glue and Tamiya extra thin cement for certain bits and pieces. But not together, I may add. That would be stupid and also probably very dangerous. The kit was pretty easy to fit together. I had to soak this car door in warm water as it had a slight buckle in it. I could have used a heat gun, but when I checked the neighbour's garden shed, he didn't have one. Usually I build then paint, but because I have things that will need to be painted before being glued together, I break out my Vallejo grey primer. As you can see, I'm using a paintbrush for this because I'm not too worried what the paint job is going to look like, because it wants to look rough and ready, a lot like me. Once the primer is dried, I'm going to hit it with some brown paint. This will act like the kind of the rust sort of base coat that I'm looking for. And to tell you the truth, kids, I got bored of painting with the paintbrush and just broke out the airbrush. The main body of the car got a good coating of the brown paint. I want it to look patchy in some places, so when I use the chipping medium, hopefully it'll come through slightly, just looking a little bit sort of faded in places. And hear me sounding all professional, pretending I know what I'm doing, when I'm just making this up as I go along. While I do that, I just want to give some shout outs to my awesome subscribers who leave comments, tips, or just leave a comment to say hello. Most of you are putting in the code word that I ask you to leave, some not. The code word is my way of knowing who actually watches and who are the skippers. The code word will be dropped soon, but for now, thank you for all my awesome subscribers. And you're probably sick of hearing this, but please also like and subscribe to the channel if you're not a subscriber. It's free to subscribe and doesn't cost you a penny, but makes me very happy and warm and giddy inside. That's my YouTubery bit over and done with. Now, where were we? Oh yes, top coat is going down. Now I forgot to film me painting on the chipping medium, but I know it's there somewhere. Blue is the choice of colour for the car, so I'm just going to paint that. Probably a couple of coats, patchy, just to make it look weather worn. While the paintwork dries, I went back to the wheels and thought it just needed a little bit, which I'm going to do now. I'm sticking on some of the wheel nuts just in the middle of the wheels, just to give it that little bit of finishing aesthetics. Look at me sounding all posh. Or is that sounding like I know what I'm doing? And this little bit that I have in my monkey hands that I'm going to chop down is from the innards from a spray bottle. I'm going to use it just to add another little bit to it, which I've already done, which is that green bit which you can't see because my hands are covering everything. So if I add this little top from a toothpaste container, it now becomes some sort of jet engine. Genius. Oops, it looks a bit wonky, but so's this build. Time to stick the wheels onto the vehicle, and I'm putting them at an angle so they look like thrusters that are helping keep the helping keep the car afloat, hovering, whatever you want to call it. So that's how the base of the car looks like so far. It's coming on nicely. I realised that the wheels need some sort of pipes or something to go to the underneath of the vehicle from the wheels, so I'm just going to chop some sprues off that have interesting shapes and stick them on. I know I should have done this before I put the wheels on. It was a fiddly job, but I think worth it, and now you can see that the wheels are actually connected to the car. And what's also connected to the car is the code word. Put this code word in your comments, and the code word is Sky Candy. Don't forget to like and subscribe to the channel. Sorry. Now, to be honest, the bonnet didn't turn out how I wanted it to turn out. I don't know what happened. Maybe I might have forgotten to add the chipping medium. Maybe it's just because I'm stupid. Maybe it's because I'm a Londoner. I'm not actually a Londoner. All I know is that the bonnet didn't do the chipping bit, so that would presume is my fault because I didn't add the chipping medium. Let's move on. I just add the windows to the car very gently, trying not to get glue into places that shouldn't be. Back to the base of the car, I stuck these sprues on for some reason that I didn't know it wasn't happening or wasn't working for me, so I snipped them off. Then while I was trying to work out how to do the underneath of the car, I decided to paint all the little bits and pieces of the insides of the wheels and stuff, which again I should have painted before I glued together, so this made it even more trickier. There goes the man. He is, let's call him Paul. No, Ringo. Let's call him Ringo. That's Ringo. He came with the kit. I just chopped his hat off, so now he looks like a bad ice cream salesman. Made some yellow stripes down his arms so it would go faster. I don't know, I'm just making this up. On goes the other door panel, and unfortunately I broke the framework for the window, so I had to position the window in such a way that it looked like he'd rolled the window down. Yeah, sometimes you just have happy accidents, and that was a happy accident. So now it's time for Ringo to be forever entombed in the little car, and there it gets stuck on. I'm just going to use some of the thin cement just to dab on here and there, and hopefully that will stick. Then I stuck on the bonnet. Oh, will it? Yes, there we go. That was too white, and I eventually decided to repaint that again. a darker white. I know it doesn't make sense. Time for the jet engine that I painted off screen, just a simple silver, and it just fit into the boot of the car perfectly. And I'm just going to make sure that that's not going to drop off, so just throw in lots of super glue down there, and yeah, that looks pretty cool, as if it was made to be. This is long overdue, but I'm now tackling the underneath of the vehicle, so I'm just going to add lots of different greeblies to the underside of the car. And those greeblies come courtesy from a subscriber of mine called Cynical Mank. I'm still going through all the little bits and pieces that you sent me, thank you very much, and just found some nice little bits and pieces that will look superb on the underneath that you'll never see of the vehicle. I added some skirting to either side of the car using some thin strips of plasticad, and to jazz it up I just added little bits of sprue to it, adding more greeblies to the underside of the vehicle that you will never see. Yes, I over-engineer things. I like the aesthetics looks of pipes and wires hanging from vehicles or spaceships, stuff like that. So I added some more pipes and wires to the underside, and then remember those two junk box pieces that I had at the start? I finally found where they could go at the front to look like jet engines. Genius. Then, with my junk in my hand, I began vigorously rubbing. And not in the way you're thinking. This is a YouTube channel, by the way, and not the OnlyFans channel. This process took a long time to do, but eventually the chipping came through, and yeah, it takes a while, but the paint does come off eventually. This is another cool little bit of junk box bits that I've still got, and this one lights up once I've attached the little plastic perspex pipe into it, so that's going to go there. And then the other bit with the lighting unit gets attached to the back, and then I'll faff about trying to get the pipes into the holes, and that'll be the, I don't know, let's call it the subatomic particle driver. Unbeknownst to me, while I had been playing with my plastic, the other half had gone out and bought some picture frames, which I thought, well, that's nice, I'll take one and use it as a base. So that's what I did. Got some XPS foam and cut it down to size, placed it gently into the picture frame with a little brute force. Now, my American viewers won't know this little bit, but in Birmingham, over in the UK, they're having a problem with their trash being collected, and this is the basis for this sort of like build. Basically, all the roads have been littered with trash and junk and all that sort of stuff, so the roads are no more, and people have just decided to make their cars into flying machines so they don't need to use roads anymore, and that's why it's called rubbish. And do you want to know what else is rubbish? The size of this box for the minuscule bits that you get inside it. These are cans, bottles and all that sort of stuff that you need to make up and paint. Yeah, the box is bigger than bloody 2 models put together. Break out the masking tape and cover all the sides, because I'm going to try and use some UV activated resin just to cover the cracks in the road with sort of like, well, I'm calling it toxic waste. Now, I'm not saying there's toxic waste in Birmingham in the UK, it's just this is my representation of a post-apocalyptic road that has been left to rack and ruin. I break out the UV light just to get that set, and then it's time to pull off the masking tape. Because I don't trust myself, I'll leave that to dry a little bit longer and fiddle with these bloody wires to try and get them into the light box. Then it's finally time to pull off the masking tape and get this bad boy stuck down into the frame. Off screen with a lot of fiddling, I managed to get the car stuck into place, Then it was time just to add all the refuse sacks and cans and bottles, and that's it. That's the build. Next are the glamour shots, so all that's left for me to say is thanks very much for stopping by. I appreciate all your support. Don't forget to leave the code word in the comments, and until next time, keep scratching that build, everybody.